Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always bring you guys awesome interviews. And today it is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Bryan Giles, the vocalist of Red Fang, on the show today. They have a new album that's out called Only Ghosts, and this is their fourth studio album, and the band has been going strong for 10 years, and that's hard to say for these days, man, because bands fade out so easily. But it's good to have Red Fang around, and I dig their music. So, Bryan, how's it going, my man?
It's going great. How are you?
Doing awesome. I'm glad to finally get you guys on my show. I've been a fan of you all for a very long time. You guys got some great fucking music out, my man.
I appreciate it.
What's impressed you the most about making the new album, Only Ghosts? What's caught your eye about it, if any, man?
I really like the way it was produced and mixed. I think it's like being on a waterbed on acid or something. It's a real comfortable, weird sort of environment to get into. And although I don't personally think of the record as like, oh, that's the hit, or that's, or that's the whatever, the single or whatever. I think that the record is a listening experience as a whole. I think that the songs complement each other. So I really enjoy how cohesive it is.
How was working with producer Ross Robinson on this, who's worked with, Slipknot and At the Drive-In? How was working with him?
Oh, it was great. I mean, he's got so much energy. He pours himself into these projects. I mean, like every ounce of him. I mean, we were doing 12 to 14-hour days, and he got sick after about a week, and just was terribly sick, but would not take a day off. So we worked 31 days, and we were all working hard to get the music right and capture the performance and stuff. But when it came to like say, okay, now we're doing the bass for the song, well, I could fuck off for like an hour, and then go get coffee or whatever, and then come back and be like, okay, you're ready to do guitar? Sure. But what I had to keep in mind was that he was working every minute all the time, So yeah, we had long days, but I mean, no one had a longer day than he did, and he never complained about it. He loved it. I mean, it's his passion for sure. I mean, he wants those songs to be the songs that they should be, and I think that he achieved that with us. I think he drug it out of us pretty effectively.
So did he let you guys do your own thing and then just step in and say, hey, look, I think you guys should change this or do this at any during the process?
No, he was definitely a part of the songwriting, as far as more so like song structure, arrangement. I think if there were varying opinions about how a part could go one way or another, he could be a tiebreaker, or if he heard something. He's got a great ear for music, so we trusted him when he had ideas. We would try him out, and and oftentimes would go with the way he was feeling about the way a song, what direction the song should be going in. But he was definitely, if there were things that we felt, and he disagreed with us, he was not pushy in the least. So
right.
He was very much he was in the room with us for every part of the laying down all the tracks, and we would discuss, have long discussions about what the motivation was for the part or the lyric or whatever, so to make sure that it wasn't just being thrown in there just for no reason, so every element of the song has a purpose.
Now, you guys have been around 10 years plus, and this is your guys' fourth studio album. What helps you keep your mind fresh and open to new lyrics that you've not done before? I know you're going to, do the same stuff like lyrically, but what helps you keep your mind fresh with new ideas and everything?
We've been playing in bands all of us have been in bands for, I don't know, going on 30 years now.
Right.
And I never thought it would be, a livelihood or anything like that. It never occurred to me that was the case. And so I've always just written things that I care about, something that inspires me, that makes me happy. And we were lucky enough that, people took attention and they support us, and so that we can continue to be in a band is amazing to me. But I always remind myself of how we got here was just doing exactly what we feel like doing, and not like letting anything influence us. So if somebody comes to practice with something totally off the wall, there's no one ever says, oh, that's not a Red Fang song. I mean, if someone has the idea, we'll give it a shot, you know. And so all four of us are very creative and have a lot of input in all the songwriting. So not censoring ourselves and really just writing it for ourselves, because if we've gotten as far as we have, not giving a shit, starting to give a shit would be the biggest mistake ever. So I guess don't give a shit and you'll be fine.
Yeah, do your own thing. I mean, don't copy.
Exactly.
Be your own person. Exactly. If you can't like your own shit, then how's everybody else gonna like it? You know.
Yep, and some reviewers will like slam the record. It's like, well, that's fine. I don't care if you don't like it. But as far as sometimes they'll say this or that about how the direction of the band and why didn't they go this way. It's like, well, maybe you start your own band.
Yeah. I dig it, man, because it's new to me. I mean, all your guys' albums from album to album to album is great, and they're all different. And I think it's something new that's out there right now. And I thank you guys for that, because I'm so sick of the same old shit that's out there coming out.
Well, thank you. I mean, we've always prided ourselves on like that, not censoring ourselves and just saying, you know what, let's do a slow burn song, or let's do a fast punk number or whatever, anything that somebody woke up and had too much coffee and suddenly we're playing 8 million beats per minute. It's like, that's cool. That's fine by me. And I think that's it. Is just the trust that we have in each other, that it's like, some ideas have come into the practice space where I'm like, that is insane. But that's what I say inside my brain. I don't, and what my mouth says is, let's give it a shot, because we won't shit on something until we've given it our best attempt to make it into something that we all believe in, which leads to some pretty gruesome, grueling, sessions trying to write music, because everyone wants to massage it one way or another to make it to where it kind of works in their brain. So it's a long process, but it's still fun for me. I mean, that's why I'm in a band. I love the collaborative aspect of being in a band. I used to do visual art when I was younger, and I sort of abandoned it because it was just so, I don't know, I ended up being so reclusive, and I'm not very social as it is. So being in a group and bouncing ideas off each other is really exciting, because you can have two very different ideas that come together in a song. You're like, wow, now that's something unique,
Yeah.
Whereas if it was just me writing the song, it may end up just sounding just like Black Flag all the way through.
Yeah.
I think like that first song on the record, Flies.
Yeah.
I think the verse part is a riff I came up with, and I think the chorus was sort of a collaboration between people, and just having it go from sort of one style to the next, I think I appreciate. I don't know if other people do, but I enjoy the juxtaposition of different styles. I don't want to be like a mishmash of everything. I want it to make sense, but
right.
But that's what I think perks your ears up, is not saying, oh well, this is a punk song, so you're not allowed to play a sad part after a punk part. It's like, well, yes, you can, because guess what? We are driving this ship, God damn it.
Yeah. If you don't like it, go over and sit down.
Yeah.
What do you hope the fans take away from the new album, or any album that they listen to from you guys, man?
I mean, I hope that it speaks to them in some way. I hope that it, if it's cathartic in some way for them to listen to it, or if it's just something to crank gears and shoot the shit. If it makes people happy in some way, or affects them on some level other than, oh, that's music. I mean, if it impacts them emotionally in some way, that's important to me, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it means so much to me. It's very gratifying to think that someone who's listening to something I've done gets the same satisfaction out of it that I do. It makes me feel like I've done my job.
In your own opinion, what can fans expect at a show from the Mighty Red Fang once they come out to take a listen to you guys? What you guys play live? What can they expect, man?
Well, I think that people who haven't seen us before, I think, are probably surprised, because of our music videos are lighthearted mostly. So we're like, oh, these goofy guys, but I think, well, we're not very good at talking, between songs. We don't know what to say. So there'll be some awkward silences, but I think people will also be surprised at how hostile the show really is. I mean, if we pound those songs. We deliver them as you know, as aggressively as we can. So I think some people are like, oh, those jovial beer drinking fellas, and then they're like, Jesus, you know, because you know after they get yelled at for an hour. But it seems like people enjoy it. I mean, you need to get yelled at every once in a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we can't feel it in the crowd, I mean, there's something wrong. I mean,
that's right.
Something badly wrong.
I'll just blame the front of house.
I know you guys are in a recording studio and things like that, but do you prefer the digital era the way it is today? I know you can record albums digitally now and get your music out there a lot better, but do you guys like it this way more or no?
I think the problem with digital recording is that, with analog, you have 16 or maybe 32 tracks if you're real fancy, maybe 64, but that's media good luck with that. But digital, it's endless. You know, as long as you have enough memory, hard drive or whatever, you can continue to add and add and add. And so I think in the digital world, it's a lot harder to say, okay, I'm done and walk away from something. But you know, I could put one more wind chime in there. It's like, yeah, you could, but knock it off. You know, so self-editing, I think, is sort of maybe, the technology doesn't lend itself to being succinct, you know. And I do think that it's very minor, but I do think that analog tape, you know, it has a warmth to it that you can't quite achieve with digital. I mean, digital's so advanced now, and the ones and zeros are so many. Yeah. I mean, it's that you can damn near do anything nowadays digitally, and no one would really hear it. But like for our record, we recorded all the drums to tape because we wanted that analog distortion on the drum tracks. Mm-hmm. You know, so some element of analog, I believe, should always be in the recording if you can afford it. But if you can't, I don't think it's a big deal.
Plus, with the digital era and social media and everything, to me, you know, I'm an old school guy. I've always said this. It kind of takes the mystique away from the bands because you can get right up and personal with the bands. You know what they're doing from day to day versus when I was listening to music back in the day to get to know bands. I had to wait for their video premiere, and then I had to wait for the next video to come out, the new song off their album, or go to the grocery store and pick up Circus Magazine or Hit Parade or something like that just to see them, you know?
Right. Well, I think that, I mean, for us, that's just fine because we are be the first to tell you that there is no mystique around us.
Right.
The four dudes that played a band, that's that, you know? Mm-hmm. And we never wanted to develop a cult of personality. So it actually fits with our outlook perfectly. But yeah, I would say, I mean, when I was a kid, shit, like Blackie Lawless, you know, you'd hear all these stories about him, like, oh, he dreamt about his own death, and that's why he has the white templed hair, and, you know, like, those kind of things. Or Ozzy Osbourne shaved his head, and he's holed up in a hotel room. He's not going to play Tucson because he's on a drug binge, bald in a hotel room. And, you know, that kind of thing, it was fun. I mean, that doesn't happen anymore. I mean, I guess it does. I mean, people will still, you know, make up bullshit on blogs or whatever. But yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like maybe it's just too much information. I mean, I don't really care to see, you know, Rob Halford brush his teeth. I mean, I love his singing, but I don't need to see him with his oral hygiene. I just don't need it.
Yeah. Tonight I'm going to fix me a steak. It's going to be rare. And
Exactly. Now I'm walking my dog.
Yeah.
That's great. Delete.
In your own opinion, man, what does Red Fang bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now, possibly?
I don't know. That's completely subjective. Well, at least I can't be objective about it all. I mean, I like to think that, well, it's exciting that anyone cares at all, you know, but what I think we're bringing is just, you know, just do your own thing. If you could take anything away from a record, even if you didn't like it, it's just like, well, you know, they just did whatever. They didn't, you know, so it seems like so many bands, you figure out sort of a formula of a style of song that seems to get people's attention, and then they just sort of, you know, mix and match the parts and kind of write the same song over and over again. You know, plenty of great bands do that, but that's just not what we're interested in. You know, I think we're too hyperactive to stick to one formula. You know, we've got to be bouncing around. So, yeah, we're a variety act.
It's like everybody hollers AC/DC, 3 chords. Yeah, well, look how many albums that they've sold. How about that?
And, well, you talk about AC/DC, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's exactly fucking right. Yeah. Oh man, what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said that's what I want to do?
I don't know. I guess when I was a kid, my mom used to listen to like folk records, like James Taylor. She listened to like Linda Ronstadt, and music was a big part of my childhood. Just it was always on in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was sang in choir, and she played piano in the house, and so she got me to play. I played music in school, like little plastic recorders, and then I took some piano lessons. But I guess I was in junior high, and a buddy of mine named Preston, he had an electric guitar, and I was like, what goes on with that? I just got really excited about it. It had never occurred to me that normal kids played guitar. It was like, no, you're only allowed to play piano or trumpet. That's too wild and crazy. But anyway, I got my first guitar. My mom got me my first guitar. It was a Roadstar 2, kind of a piece of junk, but
yeah.
Man, I loved it, and at the time I was sort of getting into psychedelics, so I just I would just play, eat mushrooms and play guitar in my bedroom, and then turn the distortion and the reverb all the way up and just make noise, and then I'd break a string and I would just play that broken string, and just hearing just the caustic weirdness of it, I was totally entranced by the whole thing. I just thought it was so exciting, and then I got really excited about starting a band and started trying to write songs in my bedroom. I had no people to play music with, but I just wanted to try it. And I was like, well, how should this go, or how should this go? And I said, it goes however I want, because I'm the one writing it. So whether, there's no right or wrong answer. That's what I also love about music. It's how do you feel about it? It's one of the purest forms of self-expression. Especially, especially with no lyrical content. It's just, this is how I'm feeling. These notes, this combination of notes is how I'm feeling. And, and I'm still loving it to this day. I mean, it hasn't gotten tiring for me in the least.
Yeah. And, I've said this before and I'll say it again. You pop in an album, it should take you on a journey. Just let you relax and go right on.
Well, hopefully. I mean, depending on your taste, yeah.
All right. I know you guys get these emails probably, but if not, what's it mean to you when you guys receive an email from a fan, or prior to your shows or after your shows? They'll come out and tell you and say, hey, look, your music has pulled me through a bad experience, or gave me inspiration to overcome obstacles, or it's just made me relax and enjoy life a little bit better, to escape everything. What's that mean to you guys?
Oh, it's huge for me, because I talk to people who are social workers or, educators, and I think, wow, man, what you're doing with the world is so much, adds so much more positivity to the world than what I do, because I think that being in a band is sort of a selfish endeavor. You get to stand on stage and say, look at what I'm doing, and applaud me,
Yeah.
So if it reaches someone and it makes their life better, it's like, okay, well, maybe I'm not the most self-centered person on earth. It's Veterans Day today, and I should mention that several of our service folks have come up to us and said that they would listen to our CD in their Humvee, and it would get them through tense moments. They would just turn the music way up, and they thanked us. But obviously, I'm supposed to be thanking them. As far as like who's adding something to the world. The vets are totally underappreciated, and so for me to be, in that small way involved in helping them through a day, it's been incredibly humbling and flattering.
I just have to say, as a fan, first and foremost, thank you guys for your music and for what you guys do. So thank you, man.
Hey, well, thanks so much.
How can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy some merchandise, buy this new fucking album because it's awesome from you guys. How can they do that, Bryan?
I think you get it at relapse.com. I think they've got tons of different vinyl with, like, I don't know, vinyl these days has gone crazy, but there's some really beautiful color combinations that they have out now, a lot of limited runs. So if you're a vinyl collector, there's some really fun things to pick up there, like small runs. But as far as, keeping track of us, I mean, we're pretty active on Instagram and Facebook, so if you start following us on one of those things, I don't know, hopefully we won't annoy you too much. You can always just unfollow if it gets to be too much. So don't feel compelled to do it.
Hey, man, before I let you go, will you care to do a promo for the show?
Oh, sure. Hey, everybody, this is Bryan Giles, vocalist for Red Fang, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Please go out and pick up Only Ghosts from Red Fang. You won't be disappointed. Thanks, Bryan.
Hey, thank you.